Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Welcome back, guys. Hope we all had a great weekend. The markets, I feel like, are beginning to look active enough that maybe you're not taking the weekend off, right? Maybe you're in the trenches, whether that be on solar base. Maybe you are trading Bitcoin, which has given us a very strong move off the local low. We're going to talk about what that means for price, what that means for altcoins, and obviously how that all fits into the greater picture, right, between equities and everything else in between. But I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max, Chef Jackus, and of course Prometheus. Welcome to you guys as well. Final third of this quarter that we are coming into now, getting into the heat of the summer. They said the market wouldn't do anything, that we would just do a bunch of crabbish behavior, but Bitcoin, I think, has other plans, right? Just kind of consolidating right around all-time high, threatening price discovery. Will we get one last dip, or is it send time? And I think that question will be best answered after I give my spiel about how you guys should hit the like button, right? And and if you guys run up the like button enough, who knows? Maybe you'll get some extra alpha on today's show. But yeah, rest assured, I'm sure we will be talking about Bitcoin. Obviously, altcoins are beginning, I think, to show the strength necessary to begin legging up again. It's just a question of, are we going to get that last dip or not? But before I can get too deep into, I think, more granular details, like I said, I'm going to ask if you guys can smash that like button. We've been slacking a bit over the last few weeks, but I think with the market ticking back up, it's a perfect excuse for you guys to begin hitting the like button once again. But let's get into Joyful June, right? The commentary around what exactly is Bitcoin going to do here? Because we have shown a ton of resilience off the local low. I know a lot of that was open interest over the weekend, which led to, I think, a natural skepticism. Was it just apes, levering up on the dip? Was it perhaps Michael Saylor? Is there a difference between the two? I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, we have to respect Bitcoin market structure, which has, I think, made a pretty decent structural break of that previous, consolidation we had between 104, 106. Will we not have any more dips going forward? I don't know. I think the low on Bitcoin looks pretty strong at present, right? Especially if you are taking into account the picture that we're seeing in equity markets. The VIX looks, I would say, pretty unconstructive for a huge spike higher. Obviously, we do have some catalysts throughout this week. Maybe we get another meeting between Trump and Xi. I have to imagine that will be interpreted as a bullish catalyst for the market, as long as there's not complete implosion. And then, of course, we also have CPI later this week, which maybe we see some bearishness into as a result of hedging, but is probably unlikely to be a super bearish catalyst either. So I'm kind of asking myself, okay, what's it going to take to get the VIX to spike? And if it can't spike, has Bitcoin put in its low at this point? Because I have to say the market structure on Bitcoin specifically looks pretty damn good to my eye right now. Does that mean that we couldn't get maybe even a double bottom retest of something like ETH? I wouldn't rule that out personally, especially given that we do have some CPI shenanigans potentially loading later this week. But I think I'm in the camp that dips are going to be shallow, and that we are getting ready to trend pretty aggressively here. That's just kind of what the broader picture, I feel like, is painting right now. But how are we doing, guys? How is our weekend, and what are we seeing in the markets?
Weekend was good. It was a beautiful weekend, at least for me. The weather was incredible. It's just nice to get away from the screens a little bit. But markets, obviously, I think, kind of being a little optimistic in regards to the Xi-Trump meeting that we're having currently in London right now. And I'm personally expecting it to be a little bit of a nothing burger. Personally, maybe the bull is getting a little bit excited here, at least on the lower time frames. And Yeah, really not much to come of it. I've been saying that it's like putting two pit bulls in a room together and expecting something good to come of it. But if we do get some, massive outlier trade deal that comes across the board and, negotiations and resolutions in regard to global trade, I mean, you're going to have a pretty nasty snap higher, and obviously the market is not positioned for something in those in that regards. But ultimately here, market's just kind of trading, been trading sideways for the better part of the past really 3 weeks, especially if we look at Ethereum on the weekly. We've had back to back to back to back weekly dojis, and the question really just remains here, at least locally speaking. Are we going to get that pullback, or are we going to get, some big headline bullish catalyst that comes down the pipeline to push markets higher? And I think that's kind of what we're going to try to break down and decipher as we move forward, with the rest of the show today.
Yeah, I think the market seems to be at kind of a local crossroads here. When I look at something like others, it looks pretty good to me. Honestly, like if you were to draw like a diagonal on like the 12 hours, or even the daily, yeah, that's fine. Like from like across all the highs, in that downtrend, like it looks pretty constructive to me personally. I guess that doesn't preclude us from, maybe dropping a little bit more, but this feels like the very early innings of an attempted shift of trend to the upside. But I'm still cautiously optimistic that Joyful June is on the table. Like nothing has really changed for me. I think the level for Bitcoin is like if you can flip 109, I don't really think you're gonna pressure the lows again. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, barring some major unforeseen re-escalation, with Trump and China. So yeah, I mean, this just ignoring the news and looking at the technicals, I think it looks very constructive here. So we'll see, how long it takes to resolve, but yeah, I don't know. It looks good to me. Like I'm just kind of patiently waiting at this point. I think this is a spot where it makes more sense to me to just kind of hold your longs and expect higher. And if you start losing structure locally, then you can pivot a little bit. But this feels like middle of October to early November of last year, personally.
Yeah, I tend to agree, especially if you look at the relationship with in regards to Bitcoin in and at new all-time highs, and how much of a catch up, Total 3 and others and the rest of the market really sees once we do see expansion higher. The mean reversion that we're going to see and the catch-up trade and beta act as beta is going to be pretty awesome. Usually we do get that 2 to 3 weeks of outperformance in regards to what's up, Meat Stick. We got Louis on the show.
What's up?
Yep.
But yeah, I think that ultimately this chart does look constructive, like Max is saying, and definitely it seems to be putting out some form of basing structure here. So in due time.
We do need some others rally, man. Like I think everybody is just craving for this others rally, because it seems to me most market participants have just either left the market and the rest that is around is just so depressed. And I feel probably not even like a 100% rally would change that. Like we need those gigantic candles and people to believe again. And I think they'll come.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. whether that's focused around the stablecoin bill or a belief in the RWA side of stuff again, whatever that may be, it's
Not sure if you have guys noticed, but Circle just got publicly traded.
I
Was that
did see
last
that.
week?
It happened on last week on Thursday actually.
What do you make of that news, Chef?
Well, that's bullish, and I like it because like we know stablecoins are going to go, adopted, and their market cap will just keep on growing immensely. But there was no direct way to bet on that growth, right? Like, like you do not go and buy one USDC and expect it to grow in value. You know what I mean? So you had to be betting on some sort of, crypto related stablecoin, or something that has something to do with stablecoin generally. Circle being a publicly traded company, obviously, it will depend on like the structuring of everything, but it seems like the Circle stock could be the first direct exposure towards USDC, expansion. USDC like my assumption would be, if I'm bullish on the USDC market cap growing, then you kind of go long on Circle, right?
And that's bullish ETH ultimately. I think we mapped that out
And DeFi.
like last year, honestly. The correlation between USDC growth and ETH. It's not as clear cut as the correlation between the growth of Tether and Bitcoin's price appreciation, but I remember it was there.
I was there. Let's end it there. I was there when it happened.
You wouldn't get it.
Yeah, so have you guys bought the Circle stock yet?
I have not. I was I'm really skeptical in regards to IPOs and buying IPOs, fresh off the press. But I mean, there's
the noob. I got smoked buying the Coinbase IPO.
Yeah, I have a tough time buying IPOs. But I mean, the price appreciation we're seeing already just goes to show the demand for crypto related beta in equity land.
Yeah, I mean, buying straight from the IPO is definitely a tough spot, because it takes some time for the market to correctly price that in, so that we can calculate it against something. Like, for example, if you're going to look at the coin stock, you can now take it and it's basically an average of like, BTC, ETH, and SOL combined pretty much. With Circle, I'm not sure what it's going to be like. Where will the market price it in with, based on what will it measure? And so it's probably best to wait some time to see that, even if it means missing out on some gains, in my opinion. But I would tend to think that it's going to be an inherently bullish stock. I could see it, I think stablecoins could challenge Visa and MasterCard duopoly to some degree as well. Tether and Circle.
What does PayPal look like now that I'm thinking about it?
It looks like a bottom accumulation to me.
Burj Khalifa.
Burj Khalifa, in the middle. But obviously now, after that happened, it looks like a bottom accumulation, which it could be. But you would need some trigger for it too. And keep in mind these charts as amazing. Like, you're not gonna go wrong buying here, right? Like, you are likely not to lose money, but the chart can keep on going sideways for the next 2-3 years too. So there could be an opportunity cost.
It looks like a bubble.
Wait, what?
Looks kind of like an echo bubble.
Pipel? Pipel?
Yeah. Pipel. I've never heard it pronounced like that, but yeah, it kind of looks like it just had the tiniest of echo bubbles. But I have to imagine, if stablecoin payments are potentially revving up, then I mean, PayPal to me is probably a buy. There are probably sexier and newer bets on stablecoin growth, but this might be kind of a sneaky one. I'm not sure what the market cap is of this, but obviously it's one of those charts where, you could be
72
buying
bill.
it at a very floored valuation here.
Yeah, 72 billion. So, I mean, it's not cheap. That's for sure.
What's Robinhood's market cap in relationship to that? 72 billion.
Robinhood's is 62.
Oh, that's tough. See, I'd just so much rather buy Robinhood than PayPal.
Yeah. I mean, this chart's insane.
It'll probably just keep doing that that pattern. Markup, slightly higher high, take out all the lows, V recovery, moon that. But
Well,
it did
to
the
me,
same thing in August last year too.
To me, it right now looks like it just broke out from basically, like an all-time chart cup and handle, and it's kind of ready to go into the price discovery.
Yeah, it does. And the Robinhood stock too, it's a sexy stock. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's it has like crypto exposure. It's very user friendly. It's about to get listed on the S&P 500. It's got a lot of things going for it. It's a very attractive stock right now. And the whole idea too behind it, of it being the younger generations, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, whatever you want to call it, and Robinhood being a big benefactor of the wealth appreciation from the younger generation.
I feel like the scope of their business expands every quarter. Like the potential that they just added what was it last week? I can't remember, but I mean, they're adding political, like betting futures. When we talk about some of these products that are trying to carve out a niche, especially in crypto, right? Like, what do you do if there's a company like Robinhood that just does your niche better than you? Like, how long before Robinhood is replacing Polymarket, for example, or some of these bucket shop exchanges? Because I have to imagine eventually Robinhood, you're going to be able to trade levered crypto futures, So, I mean, we're talking about a company that I do think is inevitably going to get into banking too. It's going to become your everything finance app. How do you value a company like that? I don't know. I think this is going to reprice so much higher over the next few years, and the scope of their business is expanding so much. Like, I don't even know what it's going to look like in another 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
You said, how do you value that company? And the answer is higher.
Speaking of something,
I think Coinbase.
Yeah.
I still cannot justify holding Coinbase over Hood.
They're very, very similar market caps. Very similar.
I feel like Circle helps Coinbase's attractiveness a little bit.
Yeah. I think we're getting that cup and handle on Coin too.
I think Coinbase is probably close to a local low.
Yeah, I think it's going to do what Robinhood just did.
I'm like bullish on Coin, right? I'm just saying, I think Hood is going to go better.
I think so too.
There's more multiples in it from like a dollar amount standpoint as well.
By the way, good looking coin stock is good looking ETH and Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Few.
Yeah. 100%. MicroStrategy looks good here. Coinbase looks good here. That's bullish for crypto.
Coinbase structure to me looks a bit like JP Morgan a few years ago, which makes sense because I think Coinbase is going to be increasingly gravitating into like the fiscal custodian space, right? It should kind of function like a bank.
Yeah.
I think it looks like JPM in probably 2023. Just looking at that structure right there, I kind of feel like Coinbase is probably loading that most recent up move that JPM put in.
You think we're like somewhere in here?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah. You have Coinbase getting back to its all-time its IPO price, which pretty much topped us in 2021, at least the first top. You have Coinbase doing something like that. You know that we're in a real crypto bull run, for sure. You start seeing Coinbase stock well overextended, putting in a blow off top. Somewhere near $600-700, which is where I think it's going from here. That might be a sign to take profits.
It's probably going to like 4 digits.
That's more long term. Yeah, definitely could.
I think coin's going to 4 digits, man.
I think so too. I talked about it at the end of last year. I think coin is like the Microsoft of the crypto space, and MSTR is like the Apple. Just not in the same not on the same time frame as what occurred, in the 90s and 2000s, but just kind of from a technical perspective and how they're going to behave.
You guys want to know something funny? Is that yesterday my mom asked me, like, I got a weird text from Coinbase today asking about my account.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, we know where that came from, but she also doesn't have any amounts of money in her Coinbase account right now. So I was like, why are you even stressed out about this? You don't even have any funds in Coinbase.
That might have been the first time they reported that happening, but I've been getting texts like that for more than a year or two.
I get those all the time. I swear I get one a week at least.
Well, I know when they're saying like, yeah, you placed a trade on your Coinbase account, click here to do it or whatever. And I'm like, probably not, because I don't have any money in my Coinbase either. Unless they're trading literal pennies.
Do you know how many people fell victim to this?
Probably
you have 2 million of Tether at Binance. Please sign in.
Do people fall for this with banks? People get calls like it's like their bank. They go into the bank, they withdraw money. Because I have a buddy that works at a bank. He says he sees it all the time. Like people come in, older people, right? And that's who they target. Come into the bank. Oh, I need to withdraw this money. The bank teller advises against it, but they're all worried and whatever. They do it anyways, and they hundreds of thousands of dollars just get wiped.
Oh, geez.
It's not just crypto. This is everything. But we see it in crypto a lot.
To be fair, lots of the scammers are really convincing. Like, for example, when you get those messages right in your phone, it will literally say that the sender is like your exchange. Like it will show, I don't know, Coinbase or Binance or whatever, right? Your exchange you're using, it will say their name, and it will look incredibly similar to a lots of people who are not used to the tech, they are not like using anti-phishing codes or anything like that. It can be incredibly tempting to believe that.
CoreWeave, jeez.
Yeah, CoreWeave has been an absolute monster. Have you guys been caught up on that?
I haven't. I know. I mean, it was under different conditions that he called for it, but I remember Citrini said whenever CoreWeave launches, AI is topped, and I mean, clearly that hasn't been
Is
the
this
case
top?
because CoreWeave is just standing.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
conditions did kind of change from when we IPO'd, obviously.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, these big data center, plays are. I'm curious to what the other ones are doing, actually. Yeah, Wolf up decent off the lows. I think there's a real mispricing when it comes to infrastructure in regards to data centers and ones specifically that have access to like high quality energy and cooling as well. I mean, that's going to be something for the next 10 years that is going to play a huge pivotal piece in society. I mean, as we know how much, we know how much, Chat GPT is used. And even if you just Google stuff, what pops up is their like AI suggestion. That's like the first thing that I look at now is that like AI suggestion bar up at the top when I Google something. So it's going to
Yeah.
continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. So I think these data centers and the scalability and the infrastructure, I think, is really undervalued right now because it's very hard to access high quality infrastructure.
I'll be honest, Prometheus, I have such a horrible experience anytime I try to like Google something up again as I used to in the old days. Like, I don't know, like something simple, right? You put it in the Google and it will open up like so many pages that you do not want to see. Like, I don't know, like looking up for a World Cup winner of something, right? You'll look it up and you'll click it and it'll be like an article about World Cups, but not what you're actually looking for versus just that very simple, like, hey, who was the winner in this year? And boom, it writes you up.
So nice. Like ease of use, the time efficiency standpoint, like you said, it's yeah.
Volatility is so low. We are
Mhm.
in for a massive break.
yes. Are you talking about Bitcoin volatility?
I would like say even, like, yeah, definitely Bitcoin volatility, but even if I look at like ETH and the past 4 weekly candles, we've been so squeezed up. It's crazy.
Mhm.
We might need to put some Bollinger Bands on ETH and Bitcoin and see. ETH would probably look crazier, just like how tight they probably are.
Yeah.
God, I hate that Bitcoin volatility chart, man. That just shows you we've been institutionalized.
Mhm.
Get institutionalized.
When was this list? August. Okay, August the 22nd. Or August the 22, excuse me.
That was the FTX
Capitulation. Yeah. This is all FTX. This is without FTX.
Well, I mean, it's like it makes
Caroline,
sense.
we need you.
It makes sense that it's dropping, right? Because it's basically measuring the deviation away from the mean, and we've always had our biggest spikes during bull runs. When Bitcoin is marked up multiple X's in a very short period of time. So, I mean, it's typically, Bitcoin volatility tends to be more of like an upside indicator, I think, than a downside, with a few exceptions, obviously, given the storied history of our asset class. But yeah, no, I mean, I have to, if it ever is going to break, right? I mean, you have to imagine it's going to be a pretty gnarly one, a pretty gnarly markup from Bitcoin, gamma squeeze, et cetera, et cetera. Just who knows when that's going to happen. If it ever ends up happening at all, I mean, we might just like grind up into the right forever at this point with volatility suppressed and continuing to get nuked. But, I don't think that we are, I don't know if there's a good chart for ETH vol, but I think that could still be priming potentially a really nice move. It's just a different asset class at this point. Much larger assets, a little bit harder to get that same level of volatility that we did when things were trading at much smaller market caps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can get ETH full on TradingView.
Yeah, I mean, these Bollinger Bands, though, are compressed.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
I think we can take a little bit of signal from the fact that Hype is trying to break out. I don't know if it's going to or not, but I feel like, when we talk about market leaders showing strength.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What signal do you take from it?
I mean, I think Hyperliquid's getting ready to leg up again. I don't know when it's going to do that. I'm kind of thinking we get maybe like a small dip into CPI and then move up after that. But I mean, if some alts want to go now, I'm taking that as a positive signal for the market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pulling that Sui fractal.
Yeah, that was a great fractal.
Yeah, I mean, Hype let off. It's been leading off the lows the entire time. So I'm always keeping an eye on Hyperliquid, especially on days like today when it's up like 6-7%. It looks like it wants to go for it. Yeah, I think we're right there.
Yeah.
Yep. Never going to be exact, but flipping the old all-time high into support, failing to break down, right? The direction is higher. You start losing that all-time high, that red box you have drawn there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have a little more time-based consolidation up here, but we could just as easily push from here and go, right? And that's great for Per, right? Per is looking just beautiful. Such a layup, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Hype's going to continue to lead. It's going to be the leader for the next couple of months at a minimum.
I agree. I completely agree. You know who's coming for Hyperliquid?
CZ and the boys.
That and the Solana boys.
Solana boys?
The Solana boys. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're
coming to Hype, or they're
actively trying to take what they were doing on Solana and are trying to extract from Hyperliquid now.
Well, I'll tell you why they cannot do that. Or if they do, it's just not going to be very cost effective. I don't know if you guys are aware of like the process to get a shitcoin listed on Hyperliquid, but you have to own a ton of Hype to do it. And you can only, I think there's a limit to how many that you can launch. I want to say it's like, I don't know if it's like one a week or something like that, but it's pretty restrictive to.
Well, that's not going to work for the Soul Boys. They launch like 1 an hour, Tommy.
They're not going to be able to do what they did on Soul on Hype. Like it's just
know that.
not possible.
No shot.
They can try. They'll just fail.
Well, if they do, they'll have to pump Hype along the way.
Correct.
Yeah, pump my bags. I'm sure there'll be a few that try.
Do you think we're getting another they're going to do another airdrop? And would that be bullish or bearish?
I am increasingly leaning that they are going to do another airdrop. That's not based on anything I've been hearing. I just think it makes a lot of sense. Because I think they still own like 80% of the coins.
Oh wow!
So
Pump my bags.
I've been speculating that they're going to do another huge airdrop, probably around Thanksgiving again, if I had to guess. And it's going to heavily reward perp traders once again.
I will be getting a lot larger airdrop this run around, if that's the case.
I think I'm at about like half the volume that I was at pre-airdrop. So I've been trying to move that needle a bit higher recently.
Tommy's just farming the airdrop, man.
Airdrop
He's farming me too.
I'm on Tommy's ref link also, actually.
Yeah.
I hope they do an
I've done
airdrop.
tons
I've
of
been
volume
pushing
for you, Tommy.
Me too.
I do like no volume though. I literally just dink around once in a while. So I don't know. Tommy might be making a little. I buy Tommy dinner once a week. You know?
I wish I was getting that much from commissions. That would be sick, but it's pretty tame referral commissions. I have like another wallet that I have technically on my referral that I think has outdone both you and Louis, Max.
Probably.
Jeez.
Is it a cat enjoyer?
Is it a
Are
cat?
Are they a cat enjoyer? Speaking of fractals, I think Per is about to pull this bonk fractal. Something I've actively been looking at. I mean, from a dynamic standpoint, if we remember when Sol on chain really started to heat up, obviously the dilution was very, very minimal compared to what it is now. And you could put Per and Hyperliquid in that same camp where there's not much on Hyperliquid, like Per and maybe a few other coins. And then the Solana Foundation started really pumping and pushing Bonk. They added it to the Sol phone, I believe, and you saw it absolutely fly. And I could very well see Hyperliquid doing something similar with Per. But it's their mascot, right? It's the alpha meme, it's the alpha beta on Hyperliquid. There's nothing really else to bid on Hyperliquid. And so, like you guys are saying, if we do see another expansion higher in Hyperliquid, most people are priced out of the market at that point. Like there aren't very many multiples to be had. And the market addiction to beta, as we know, is strong, and people will seek those returns elsewhere, outside of Hyperliquid, but still with
Here, I do. I mean it.
I mean, they do, but they can do it. Can they do it like tomorrow?
I mean, it's either this month or next month. Let's put it that way. I guess I don't
This month.
have a way of knowing for sure. I hope it's Joyful
I-
June. If it's 4th of July melt up, I'm okay with that also. But
I remember last 4th of July.
Oh yeah, I do too.
I don't. Was it bad? Was it traumatizing?
You
Yes.
were in Europe, I think.
No, that was in
It was
August.
horrible.
That was August. 'Cause I remember
You
the
were on a
August
different trip,
nuke.
I think.
They tend to do that on the American holidays. I remember Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July.
No
Tommy.
What's up, Max?
I think
Are we
got
back?
rugged. I don't
Are
know
we
if we're
still
back.
back?
Let me check the.
All right, you guys are good. You guys are good.
Let me go to YouTube and double check. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we're good on YouTube.
Oh, we're on YouTube. Okay. So
Yeah,
we
all
are
right,
back.
we're so back.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
Thank you for
Stream start.
participating in our social experiment. This is what happens when you don't hit the like button. And
Okay, I don't know what that was. Yeah,
That
we had a
was
lot
weird.
of people drop off. All right. Well, I guess there's still a couple hundred people in here, but we definitely lost like 35% of the audience. At least we didn't have to make a new stream.
more. Shout out to the guys who are still
Yeah.
here.
Weird stuff's going on.
Be glad that you guys weren't around because Prometheus was showing something we just couldn't.
It was
And
heinous to the eyes.
and then FBI just rocked the show basically when they saw it. And he's doing it again, man.
Prometheus. Bro, get that off that is. I'm just
Whoa.
thankful it's a terrible fit. You can't even figure out how to get it on the screen. Look at that. Negative.
No, I'm making it right. Okay.
Soul is going to negative prices. The only
Have you
way to
guys
save crypto.
have you guys seen that on MEXC eavesdrop to 7 cents
Don't say that.
on
Well,
spot market?
Bitcoin went to 8K on Binance US. I remember back in like 2022, maybe. Might have been the end of 2021.
Did it? I know about the upper wake to like 150K or something.
I think it went to 8K. I remember like unexpectedly disgusting wicks on altcoins on that candle. I'm not sure what to think about Sol here.
Oh, there is a wake to 138K on Binance US.
On Bitcoin?
BTC USDT, and then find the Binance US. You need to scroll down. Yeah, that one.
Oh wow. Fill the wick, boys.
Look at the dollar. The big Binance just against the dollar and together.
You're rugging a little bit there, Tommy. What'd you say?
Here again. He just rugged.
He's gone.
Typical Tommy. If it's not streamed, then it's at least Tommy, man. What's going on? I saw that he got the Jesus, how's it called? The link.
Starlink. Yeah, but the issue is he doesn't have anywhere to put it outside, and so I told him to find the fire escape hatch and go put it on the top of the building, and then run a cord down the side of the building through his patio.
First world problems, he wouldn't get it.
The landlord pulls up. What's that wire coming down off the roof?
Oh my god.
Man, SPX has been a monster off the lows.
I know, man.
This is nuts. I thought it was topping here a little bit going into the weekend, but I mean, man, did it prove me wrong.
Indeed.
What are your guys' thoughts on it? Like, you think this thing, like, what are your thoughts, like, with this chart in general? Like, you think this thing goes into significant parabola price discovery higher? I don't know if you guys keep up with that community or not.
Not at all. Honestly, like from my side, this whole meme meta is just not so interesting. I liked it the old way when we had, Doge, and you could have just like bet on Doge and use it for cycles. Now it's just like too many, you know, I don't know. There's too many of them in my opinion.
I agree. Oh, we got a word.
What?
Oh, you're just a little robot there. Yeah, and I mean the RSI too is like, looks like it's losing momentum here on the lower time frames. Just like, geez.
I am pretty bullish on memes in general. I mean, that's a really blanket statement because there's so many like worthless memes that are going to go to zero and maybe scam pump if you're lucky, but that's it. But I mean, generally, like your top 100 meme coins by market cap, I mean, most of them will probably get bid again pretty hard, mainly with just like ETH appreciating. But I think you need to know when to hop off the ship. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I think there are going to be a handful that do really, really well. I think this is probably one of them. I think if it was going to die, it would have died already. I think it looks strong. And I think what you really need to consider with a lot of these memes, especially the large cap ones like an SPX 69, are they tradable, right? Because you have your holder base. Like all your top 100 memes have their holder base, right? Guys that are just going to hold the supply. Most will never end up taking profit. Some will take some profit, probably at the wrong time. But do people have an interest? Is there a narrative around trading it, right? Or can you buy and sell it and just scalp it? And it's like play it as beta for something. And I think SPX 69, although I have zero exposure to it and I don't really care what happens to it, it seems like there's an interest from people to short-term hold it, which is a bullish thing because they'll bet it. They'll bet on it at the right time. Oh, ETH is pumping. Let me buy some shit coins, and they'll buy that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty bullish on memes too, or like I think it's the best representation of the fiat world ending, kinda coming to its end. I think the way governments will have a problem with bonds, and the lack of buyers for those. I think that's telling, and they will have to buy their own debt. And I think meme coins are a great representations of it. That said, and again, I'm very bullish on them getting crazier. I think the degeneracy always gets crazy, but at the same time, I personally am not enjoying it the way it is. I always liked it the way it was, when you have something delivering and then you have memes complementing it rather than the other way around. But that said, I think this cycle will be different in terms of, or not different, sorry, that's the wrong word. But I think that at least we do see some, finally, like some bidding coming into ETH and DeFi lately. And I think that's a good stuff for the long term. We do see the regulation coming in for the stable coins. We do see Circle launching. I think that's very positive.
I feel like capital is inevitably going to be more efficiently allocated to strong fundamentals in crypto, but that bid will probably look a lot less speculative because of obviously the meme coin craze that we've seen this cycle. And I think I think that dynamic's going to continue. Not just, I wouldn't say like that we're just going to see a bunch of new meme coins spawn up all the time and just catch a bid, but I just think meme coins are probably liquidity cycles in the purest sense. They're less liquid, and they're probably going to be very reflexive to trends. And that's not to say that, you know, these DeFi coins, these, I think, strong assets that are emerging within crypto aren't going to catch a bid. It's just, I think, going to take a bit more of time for that capital to find its way into those assets, right? Like an AVE. I mean, we can kind of look at the way that it's traded since 2022, and it has in a way, you know, traded, I think, more tethered to liquidity, where you have, you know, obviously the booms and the busts, but they're much smaller than what we're seeing on meme coins. And ultimately the price action on a higher time frame is a slow grind higher. And I think that's representative of capital finding AVE. I wouldn't call it like a safe haven, right? But it is, I think, being efficiently allocated towards AVE through time.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, the most memeable meme is still Pepe. I love Pepe, like the meme itself. Yeah. Very bullish on it too, fundamentally, because it's a fundamental meme to me. But apart from that, don't know, crazy meta.
Yeah, I mean, Max,
I do think Pepe looks pretty good here. If the market is ready to move a little bit higher, I think that Pepe is just going to launch from this level. But, you know, it's kind of at an awkward spot where it's like you're in a high time frame uptrend, but medium time frame, you're kind of floating in no man's land. So, but here's the thing about that level, I will say. Pepe is kind of famous for front running the perfect pullback. And let me give you an example. There were a lot of people before the 10x markup in early last year. If you were to scroll all the way back, Prometheus, to like the 10x, zoom way in on that level. Yeah. A lot of people wanted like that perfect low to get retested, like that demand, right? Even the top of that, even the top of it. A lot of people wanted that level. I mean, I'm kind of thinking like a little bit lower than that. Like if you were to just draw like that kind of, that whole demand cluster, a lot of people wanted that level. And majors didn't allow for that to happen. I'm not saying it wouldn't happen or it can't happen. I'm just saying that, you know, if you're going to rip, you're not going to end up ranging bracketing perfectly. So you kind of have to be okay with just taking a pullback and getting in. Yeah.
I like that text right there.
Big country.
What's up? I will bid here and be a genius. That's real. Prometheus. Later. Very nice.
yeah, I mean, Max, you've touched on it. You touched on it quite a while ago. I mean, it was, God, probably like 8 months ago at this point. But you stated that the cleansing of the altcoin and memecoin space and what that's going to do for kind of the broader memecoin, you know, sector in general, and what we're seeing right now, in my eyes, is unbelievably healthy for the market. I mean, sure, things aren't, you know, 2020 style where you had like Doge and SHIB and that was it. But a lot of the, you know, bad actors and the, you know, Omega dilution that we had it's not as prevalent. You know, it's not even close to what it was when we had the pump fund craze, when we had, you know, the narrative spin-ups on spin-ups on spin-ups, you know, beta on beta on beta on beta on beta. It's still there, but it's not as prevalent. And the space, in a way, because of the efficiency of these markets, will clean itself up to some sense, or in, you know, to some sense. But I think ultimately that is very, very bullish for a lot of these tickers like Pepe and some of the other majors. So
I mean, the big issue is just people taking things way too far, is what we just continually saw late last year. was they realized, and I'll speak from my own, like from within my own little bubble. Like obviously I'm really focused on the boys club narrative, which kind of is around Pepe. It became pretty widely accepted that like, okay, there is this like boys club narrative, right? So like the four. And then dude, even to this day, every single day, people will send me messages and be like, hey bro, like I know you're gonna love this. Here's another Matt Fury ticker, like, you know, it's beta to Andy and Wolf and Brett. And I'm like, dude, first of all, no, it's not. Okay. Second of all, this is a brand new ticker. You're just trying to grift off of like a solidified narrative that is formed, right? A lot of these they're cancerous, right? Like they're just taking like an accepted narrative and just pushing it way too far. And it's a problem, right? It was a problem. I don't think it's going to catch on again like it did, or I don't think it's going to get as crazy grift as it was last time. I think people hopefully learn their lesson. But it's like, I don't want to buy the 12th Matt Fury derivative. Like I have my core Pepe position, and then I have 3 beta tickers that should outperform Pepe when Pepe rips. It's really that simple. Like it's just so many people like, oh, it's OX, it's OX 70 or OX, you know, like one off from Pepe or Andy or Wolf or whatever. And I will say this, the more copycats you have, the more like grift attempt spinoffs you have, the more bullish it ultimately is, because it gives you that confirmation that the narrative is that strong. And people see the vision for it that much that they're like, ooh, I can get some vulnerable, you know, inexperienced investors to buy into something off of like a very similar contract or similar name or, you know, whatever it is. Like if you went to Dex Screener and you looked up Andy, there's like 50 Andy tickers, guys. Like people just keep making Andy tickers, right? Because I think people realize like, oh, this is going to stick. This is going to be one of the few that stick. But go look at Pepe. If you look at Dex Screener, there's like 500 Pepes, right? People just pop up random contracts that look like other successful ones because they know that people are going to buy them, right? Either accidentally or try to arbitrage it for, you know, a catch-up trade or whatever. You know, so in one regard, it's like, all right, cool. Like people see, you know, they're trying to copycat these successful narratives and grift. It's confirmation that it's legitimate, but it's also just something that plagued the, you know, the crypto asset class so much, man. It was just extraction, no true plans or commitment from anybody, just absolute scammery. So I'm really hoping we don't go back to that. We can all kind of like rally around a dozen names that are going to do well. But I would just say this, before you buy anything, you should have a requirement. Is there a chance that this is a multi-cycle play? That's it. It doesn't even, you could be wrong. Is there a chance that this is legitimately a multi-cycle play? Or is this something you're going to buy and probably need to dump immediately as soon as it pumps because it's going to get rugged and it's going to die after this cycle? You know what I mean? I'm not interested in things that are one cycle plays. I'm simply not, you know, not because they won't go up short term, but because usually they're just filled with grift and they're so risky because there's going to be 1 or 2 guys that just destroy the project, you know? Multi-cycle play. That's a requirement. For me, at least. If you want to get Solana, then go for it, but I'm good. And by the way, if I say that, you know what I mean, which is all the proof right there. If you want to go get Solana, go ahead. I don't even need to explain what that means. You know what it means. If you want to go get Solana.
I think the people still looking for like new meme coins to be spun up that can run to like a billion or multi-billion market cap in the way that we've seen things like Mudang with Pepe. I mean, they're kind of like the Japanese soldiers fighting on the islands like 15 years after the war ended. You guys have seen that meme, right?
Mhm.
I have.
I think there's just like so much dilution in the meme coin space. I think we're finally at a point where capital is going to be assigned to good memes in the same way that we've seen it happen with actual, fundamentally sound crypto protocols. I just don't think that the people who are actively looking for these opportunities of like brand new coins that just launched, and so that they can say that they're in the trenches and grinding. I really feel like the trench mentality is almost becoming like a huge hindrance to people trying to make money.
Bro, why would you want to be in the trenches? That sounds awful. Like,
I think it's
It
like
is awful.
I think a
I'm
lot
in
of
the
people almost
trenches.
do it as
No,
like a
you're
rite
getting
of passage.
rugged. Like, what are you talking about? You're not
It's
in
like cool when you're up big and you're like, oh, I'll take like, a little bit of spare capital and like just go gamble for, a few nights. But it's like you're literally going to the casinos. You're like,
You
I'm just going to go in there and like expecting to lose money,
Worse odds than a casino. It's so much worse. And I mean, it's like somebody says anything negative about trench culture on the timeline and they get attacked by a million people who are like actively losing money. I don't understand. It's like one of the greatest cases of cognitive dissonance that
You speak for my soul, Tommy.
it's like, you can't talk down about the trenches, skill issue. And then you look at the wallet distribution of people making money.
it's like less than 1%, isn't it?
It
I
is.
know.
Yeah, it's like
less than
0.8%.
1%.
Dude, head
Less
to your
than
local
1%
casino and
can be
just bet
making
it
above,
all
like,
on
500
blackjack
bucks.
hands. You got way better odds. You got 48.5% chance. What are you doing in the trenches?
Believe in something. Only it's
Believe in
newest
something.
shitcoin scam of the week on Solana.
Well, most of CT grifters have an intention to keep pushing up the dream, right? Because that's what makes the money, and people love to believe in the dream, so they will keep on pushing it too. But yeah, nobody wants to hear the truth.
Are you buying XRP here, Prometheus? What's going on?
I was long XRP, closed it out last night.
VFP is currently long XRP right now.
Is it now?
But that's a conversation for another time.
Who?
This
Max?
is a proprietary behind
Said
closed
who?
doors type of conversation, Jack. Because VFP is long XRP right now.
VFP.
Few.
I can't share any more than that. I'll happily share later, but I can't share any more than that, unfortunately.
Okay.
But all you need to know is that something out there, someone out there with a 67% win rate over 2 years is long XRP right now, short term.
Love to see it. Yeah, I think XRP looks good here.
And on that note, you guys close this out. I gotta go.
Prometheus just runs up to reopen his XRP long. Hearing that. I love that hoodie, Tucker. Maybe you can show it again. That hoodie.
EV hoodie? This is an old one, bro. This is like
Let's go.
2 years old. Yeah,
Few.
it's a good one.
Well, we got rocked today. Not sure if you've noticed, but
We did, but Eats trying to push through here nonetheless.
there was a question to Tucker, but he just ignored me completely.
Wait, what was your question?
Well, it wasn't even a question, just like saying, hey, we got rocked today. Not sure if you have noticed.
Oh no, I was driving. Okay, so this is what happened. I had to go to Micro Center because my cat chewed my cord on my mouse. Okay, it was a disaster, and then no, I was watching the YouTube on the way home, and I saw you guys getting
We were just chilling here talking, and then
I know. Oh, you guys were. I know because Tommy was texting, and I was like, "Yeah, you guys are not live. I don't know what's going on." So,
yeah, it was like black screen on YouTube, and we probably talked for another 5 minutes without realizing it.
yeah. It's all good. Wait,
Wearing
so
a
how long
hoodie
was
in
it?
June, Tucker?
Dude, you don't understand. It's not warm down here, man.
Oh, I know. I'm actually wearing a hoodie too right now.
Are you? Well, you're
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have pretty similar climates, I feel like.
Mhm.
yeah. What do we see on ETH there?
I think we get ETH back into 2,400. I really don't know if we get lower than that.
Really? 2,400, huh?
I mean, yeah.
Prometheus, is that FUD still going on Kida, or is it over?
No, it's over. I mean, nothing was like there's no substance to it whatsoever. It was just femboys being femboys. Yeah. I mean, it's people that suck at trading just being narcissists and, pessimists. That's really what it is. Yeah, I mean, the head dev for Kita literally messaged both of them, or didn't message him, like responded on Twitter and was like, hey, if you want to talk and have questions, like I'll set up a call right now and we can talk. Like, you guys clearly are ignorant and don't understand what's going on. You don't understand the project. So I'll happily answer questions. So, I mean, you're getting a little bit of a pullback. You love to see it. I mean, that was, especially going the 1 hour, the 1 hour was nuts. Like, that was crazy. Just immediate buyback, having a retest this log 2618. And these are the moments, for ticker or for projects specifically, like buying that FUD is often the best entry you can get,
Yeah.
Where did Tommy?
Yeah. Whenever like FUDs are healthy for anything, because whenever something survives a FUD, and that FUD will inevitably come to anything, then that's your solidification.
Yep. Yeah, and they're like, "Oh my God, there's people shilling the project. There's KOLs." It's like, okay, every project has people shilling it, like any decent project does. Congratulations. There's people that believe in the project and have been holding for a long, long time. Like, it's bullish.
Yeah, I think it still looks pretty good. High time frame there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about the shenanigans.
Oh, there he is.
I have returned.
You guys want to take us out?
Tommy?
Yeah, that's probably a good spot. Hopefully I can make it through the outro. But yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. As always, we hope that you enjoyed the show. I know we had some technical difficulties throughout, but StreamYard's usually pretty good, so I can't imagine that is going to be a reoccurring issue. Regardless, like I said, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully we were able to kick off your week the right way. Certainly going to be an interesting week of price action with Bitcoin and ETH once again teasing potential breaks higher. CPI later this week. Equities, kind of just doing what they've been doing, which is floating up. But yeah, dollar down also. I'm sure that's going to be a reoccurring theme. But yeah, if you enjoyed the show, Market Check will be back for another episode tomorrow. Typical start time around 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard. And a reminder that we are live every weekday that the New York Stock Exchange is open. So hopefully you enjoyed the show enough that you will join us again, but also make sure to close out your day with King Wabi and Market Talk. That is a Spaces hosted through our Because Bitcoin X account. So make sure to stay following and subscribe to both Because Bitcoin as well as King Wabi, so you can be notified not just when we schedule those spaces, but also when we go live. Instead of doing a product show, I'm just going to, well, I guess it is kind of a product show. We are going to close the show with an ad for the BB Terminal, guys, which once again is your go-to tool for this cycle, whether or not you are an active trader on lower time frames, a long-term investor, or an on-chain degen. We might have to change the on-chain degen label to on-chain something else, right? Not on the terminal, but just like, I mean, I feel like we're starting to see capital begin to rotate into some fundamentally sound projects on chain. So maybe a little bit less degen from this market recently, but nevertheless, guys, we've got the tools for you to be able to navigate on-chain markets just as well, as centralized exchange markets. And but yeah, we hope that you guys enjoyed the show. That's it from us. Y'all have a great rest of your day. And of course, as always, stay safe.
Every morning, coffee in hand, I open up the BB terminal. We built this platform to be your trusted companion, whether you're actively trading, investing for the long haul, or even dabbling in the degen space. Let's start with the BB portfolio. It integrates with over 60 blockchain networks and supports both wallet connections and manual entries, making it flexible enough for any trader. On the active page, you'll find advanced charting tools, complete with more than 21 custom scripts to give you deeper insights. Beneath that, our intuitive heat map helps you spot key support and resistance levels easily. But we know active trading isn't everyone's style, so we created the DCA page, equipped with over 35 thoughtful indicators. It's designed to assist you in making informed, strategic, and long-term investment decisions. We're genuinely proud of what we've created here at BB, and we continually strive to improve it every day.